The X-Men are coming to the MCU, and with them, they're bringing the MCU 2.0. Folks, we're here to tell you that Kevin Feige is looking back over the travesty that is the Phase 4 poor performance, the Phase 5 dive, and a sick Phase 6. And he says to Marvel and Disney, yeah, I'd like more of that. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel that is changing hearts and minds just by telling the truth about entertainment. Shilling and shillage not allowed. We are also welcoming to the show yet again, ND Andrew from the Riververse. Welcome back, sir.
Hey, great to be back, Pro. I feel like I only saw you 5 minutes ago.
Well, you know,
I loved all the alliteration with the phases there. They're doing very poorly.
You were here on the Pro Show yesterday, and you're back again. You just can't get enough, and I don't blame you. I can't get enough of explaining entertainment. It's a good place to be. Well, let's get right to the news as we see it. And folks, here we go. This is out of MCU Film News. As we dive into this topic today, consider clicking the like button so that this kind of content never goes away. Be shared out across YouTube. You are the gigawatts. Click the like button and help us do what we need to do. X-Men News. Marvel Studios is looking for a writer who can expertly balance comedy and drama. Okay, cool. They want to get another Guardians thing going. Got it. Focus on the female characters. Okay, cool. Well, not what I would necessarily do. I would focus on all of my most popular heroes. I wouldn't care if they were male or female. For example, Storm and Rogue are both insanely popular. So if you just cover the popular X-Men, you're going to have pretty good parity. And they want to introduce new characters, ones that haven't been in live action before, alongside the main ones we all know. And that, frankly, is fine with me. This is coming from Daniel RPK, who has a fairly good track record. Not saying perfect, but saying it's worth our time and conversation. Now, here's what we need to look at, Andrew. I reported, gosh, more than a year ago now, and still am hearing the exact same thing, that Disney desperately wants Storm. They want Storm brought to the MCU because they want Storm to be the new leader of Wakanda. And they need that because there's really nothing left to do with Wakanda. None of the characters are popular that they have there now that Boseman is gone. And having sort of a funerary film worked for a sequel, but it's not going to carry the day any longer. And that's due to merchandise sales. They're looking at merchandise, and it was horrendous. Hasbro
what merchandise sales?
Right. Well, Hasbro probably not willing to keep doing that. So, Andrew, they could do Storm, they could do Rogue, no problem. If they're wanting to introduce new characters, and if they're wanting to introduce new female characters, not a problem. They can do characters like Psylocke. That's not an issue at all either. Now, all of this said, where I see a problem, one, that they're trying to find a writer who can expertly balance comedy and drama. That seems to me that they have less enthusiasm for Michael Waldron, who was their go-to for the past few things that they've done, and did an okay job with Loki. There were times when it was excellent, times when it was not. But I'm concerned about this going back to a focus on female characters. I don't understand it. So, Andrew, could you explain to me why Marvel, why Feige, why Disney, why would they just not say, hey, let's put the most popular characters we have on the big screen and let's rock it? Why, you know, Cyclops, Wolverine, Nightcrawler, Gambit, Rogue, Storm, Professor X, Magneto. We can keep going. Like, absolutely. What's the deal? Why are we doing MCU 2.0?
I don't understand what Marvel and really any of these companies' deal is lately. And by lately, I mean like the last several years, and just not realizing what they have at their fingertips, what they have access to. All of Marvel's most like well-known, universally beloved female characters are part of the X-Men. So there's never been an issue with comic book fans, especially X-Men fans, lacking for female characters that they support. That's the strangest thing in the world to me. Storm is my second favorite leader of the X-Men, and just one of my all-time favorite members of the team in general. Grew up loving her in the show. Love her in the
Okay,
comics.
Stick with that then for a second, Andrew. What do you think about Storm being used more so to save Wakanda then?
I think that's improper use of Storm because, look, Marvel in the comics has utilized Storm in Wakanda before. There was a point in time where I believe I want to say she was married to T'Challa at one point in the comics, but we don't have T'Challa in the films anymore. And that sucks because Chadwick Boseman did a bang-up job with his performance in the films that he was a part of. So I think that at this point, and they're not going to because they need the Wakandan brand for their, I guess, for their diversity. Just cut your losses. We don't care about Wakanda anymore. I'm sorry. Like some people will say
listen, they're not going to do that. They are not going to.
I am fully aware they're not going to.
Cut
your losses.
They've got a Berg.
The X-Men.
They've got a Berg, BERG. That's what, you know, their employees that fall into particular cultural and ethnic groups. They've got a Berg called Wakanda. I mean, they are full-on devoted.
Which is unfortunate because it's not sellable right now in its current state. And I don't think that taking away from the X-Men and focusing on Storm over in Wakanda is going to do them much of a positive because that's still not enough. Storm on her own is not enough to sell Wakanda. And to put not too fine a point on that as well, it's going to detract away from the X-Men brand because X-Men fans love Aurora Monroe. They want her as part of the team, whether she's just a fellow member alongside everybody else or whether she's leading the team. We don't care. Just make sure Storm's there and make sure she's cast properly.
Sure. And in terms of female characters, and I'm going to tell you, I have some doubt. I've got some doubt that Kevin Feige is wanting to refocus on women again. I think that Marvel has taken their chops, they've taken their licks. They surely they are licking their wounds at this point. They have to go to just flat out the most popular characters they have, but that's not a problem for them with the X-Men. They can bring in Jean Grey, they can bring in Emma Frost, Jubilee, Kitty Pryde, surely Rogue. Yes, and they can go into characters that aren't quite as well known. Dazzler, for example, they could bring Firestar into this. There's all kinds of options, but the idea that they would focus on women and not focus on, hey, these characters are popular. These archetypes are great. You know, if you have Rogue and you don't have Gambit, you're insane.
Well, it's a team dynamic. That's what sells the X-Men. It's not about just having the female characters, just having the male characters, or even just about one character. One of the big failings of the first three Fox X-Men films, the live action ones from the early 2000s, was they put far too much focus. And I'm probably going to take some heat for this. They put way too much focus on Wolverine. He's not the main character. They certainly made him a main draw now because of what they did with him in the films. And
they made Cyclops too. They made Cyclops too pathetic. He was.
They made him a freaking wuss, which was sad for a lot of people and unfortunate because James Marsden could have done a awesome job as Scott.
I wouldn't mind seeing James come back for Deadpool, if they're going to do a multiverse thing. Yeah.
I'm holding out hope for that. Because I think he's a likable guy. I always like him in whatever he's in. I love him in the Sonic films. And I think
Donut Lord.
Yes, Donut Lord. I think he was just done a disservice. Like he was handed a great character who was written poorly for those films. And so like with the X-Men, just focus on the team dynamic. You can easily have like a 50-50 split between the male and the female characters, and you will cover the bases of just characters people universally love and they'll be drawn towards and endeared to. And you'll, as long as you do your due diligence, you're going to have a very successful property on your hands, which is going to be the first time you're going to have that in a few years. But
Andrew, one of the things
they want to do this weird focus.
One of the things happening too is we've got this very strange situation where Bo DiMaio, who did X-Men 97, was released from Disney a day before the premiere of that cartoon show. Many people out there think the cartoon show is great. I think it's good. I'm holding until the final episode review later today, but and I'll make my judgment then. I want to wait until I see the final episode to see where this goes. If they switch this so that Magneto's philosophy was always the way to go, and you have to destroy the humans and subjugate them, then I'm going to say, that's apropos for the folks out there and what they're up to today in the modern world. But it's not the right and just thing and the honorable thing to believe. So we'll see. But the weird thing is that Bo DeMaio, despite taking the series in some places that I'm worried about, seems to really get the archetypal characters, right? I don't know who they're going to find who can do that, but they cannot miss with the X-Men. And if they do it right, if you have Rogue who cannot be touched and Gambit who is still willing to be there with her, the scoundrel, right, who is still willing to, that's the Lady and the Tramp all over again. But if they're willing to do that and have just a normal, like, longing relationship, a will they, won't they, like, there is so much to be mined out of that. If they will just do a leader in Cyclops who is conflicted, right, about his own personal life and wanting to be more than just an X-Men, and all, like, if they will do all that and the responsibilities of leadership, he's essentially Leonardo. Just play it like that. Like, if they will just do the normal thing the fans want and don't subvert our expectations.
It's so,
don't give us the MCU.
It's
they will have buckets of money pouring on their heads.
This is the same issue that we've seen time and time again, especially with Disney. They purchase a property. It has a framework. It has a template proven for success. Lots of it. You have a built-in fan base. You don't have to build a fan base from scratch with this. This is the X-Men.
Buckets of money.
And instead, they choose to be like, oh, that template, we're not using that. That framework that we know already works, we're not going to do that. And then we wonder why what they put out is garbage and why it performs poorly and why the MCU has been hand over fist losing money for their last several films.
Disney,
for the most part.
Listen to us. You don't have Iron Man right now.
No,
you don't have your Avengers right now. And they made you a lot of money. And listen, because you seem to really struggle with some of these easy, logical conclusions we have. The X-Men equals money. Okay, Disney? Are you listening? Okay, take notes. X-Men equal money. Make X-Men way fans want. Big money, Disney. You getting this, Disney? Don't inject woke into it. No DEI. No postmodern politics. Definitely no TD. Yes, no TDS. None of that. None. Don't put it in there. Just give us the frickin' X-Men.
Just give us the X-Men. And the thing is, the way that they're built, if you give us the X-Men, literally everybody of all makeups, they're going to be able to relate to the characters and relate to the characters' plight and their arcs and their growth, because they were created in such a way that they're meant to be outcasts. They're meant to be the other. And therefore, they have to figure out how to make it through all these different situations, scenarios, and dangers together. And there's a lot of cool interpersonal stuff in there, a lot of drama, but anybody can relate to them for the most part.
Right. So don't make them explicitly about modern issues.
Yeah, you don't have to be like, oh, this is meant topics. This is meant to specifically represent this group or that one over there. No, it's
just make it about outcasts.
Outcasts. Yes. Literally anybody could just relate to that. It's that easy.
Buckets
it's already done.
Of money, Disney. Do you want the buckets of money? This is one of the last ways you can make buckets of money. At this point. we don't even, Disney, you've watched the channel. We don't even advocate for you right now because of, what you've done to yourselves. But we're here telling you, this is literally one of your last golden geese. Don't strangle it if you have any sense in your mouse heads.
They have nothing else right now because the only
Star Wars is dead.
Yeah,
Pixar is on the ropes.
Yeah, Pixar's on the ropes. The only MCU film or even MCU adjacent film that they have that anybody has anything resembling enthusiasm for is Deadpool and Wolverine. And a lot of that is not because it's a Marvel product, but because it's Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman, and people are excited for that because they like their dynamic and they like the characters that they played. Outside of that, they have nothing in their pipeline that anybody gives half a rat's tail about.
You She-Hulk this, it's over. You echo this, it's over. It's done. Right out of the get-go.
This film is their chance to get people extremely hyped for the possibility and potential of a good live-action X-Men film. If they drop the ball with this and then subsequently drop the ball with the X-Men, they're done. Because
Thor and Love,
we don't
Love and Thunder
know
this.
anything about. We don't know anything what they're going to do with Spider-Man at this point.
We don't need
Holland's
cats.
Probably done. Honestly,
We don't need cats eating adults for some kind of stupid humor joke. Like, none of that. Let it go. Anyway, Disney, that's the robust financial advice we have for you. And folks, the X-Men 97 season series, I mean, we'll see what happens, but the season review is on the way later today as I dig into this final episode and decide, does it take us places that made the entire journey worthwhile? Or does it set up a postmodern, ultra-woke kind of teaching that kids should not be adhering to and adults should possibly stay away from as well? Well, we'll break it all down. I can tell you one place, though, that you can go for great comic book stories, and that's where the gate was left wide open for the Rippaverse to come through by Disney and others abdicating the comic book throne. Andrew, what do you guys have coming out on Rippaverse?
We're about to be in the we're actually in the last month of the Yaira 1 campaign, written by the Soska sisters, Jen and Sylvia, penciled by Deborah Carita. Fantastic book. I had the pleasure of being the
Wait a minute, Andrew, did you just list out women? Did you just say women's names?
They were, those are all women. They're part
That's
of the
not possible.
Our
That's
colorist,
not possible.
Our colorist is a male, I guess. And
I've been told by the critics that I've been told by the critics that it's all male chauvinism and just horrible,
it's very subtextual. That
reassessing then, reassessing.
We've got
real
that,
women.
The next project's going to be the absolute legend, Mike Barron. He's going to be doing Gooding with Will Conrad, the great Will Conrad, penciling that. And so you can look forward to that very soon after Yaira fulfills.
Fantastic stuff. It's almost as if comics are being resurrected by the Rippaverse. Great
comics
to see the industry.
Are booming. They're just booming here.
That's right. Great to see the industry not absolutely succumbing to the faults and failures of the companies that made them successful and then decided, nah, we're not going to do that anymore. All right, folks, it's your turn now. Like, share, subscribe, click it, stick it to the algorithms. It's the notification bell. Drop a comment down below and let us know which X-Men would you like to see, and only if Disney does it well. We're not going to say, if, let's step away for a moment from the Disney that we've seen, and let's just say, if they could do it the right way, which X-Men do you want the most? For me, Nightcrawler. Cool. All right, folks. We are looking forward to seeing your comments. We are looking forward to sharing our time with you. It is an honor, as always, an attitude of gratitude here on the channel for each and every one of you. Yes, you. Folks, wherever you are and whatever you're doing, keep learning, keep growing, and as always, keep having fun.
Oh.
What are you doing?
Well, you see, I wanted to get some inside scoops on Disney and their different corporations, if you know what I mean. So I figured by looking into this fistbowl and sucking it randomly with my own energy that I paid for, you paid for, I could do the whole experience where you can be a master and spy on your targets.
You're an idiot. If you want to get the inside scoop on Disney, or even other media organizations, you should check out thatparkplace.com and subscribe to WDW Pro's YouTube channel. That'd be way easier, more accurate, and, less dumb.
Are you saying I won't get accurate information this way?
No, you can't.
Who'd have think?